Welcome, everyone, to the Fourcast. Kick that beat back.
Yeah, bring it back, DJ.
Bring it back. Bring it back. Before we get into the show, real quick shout out to Al High for the dope snapbacks.
The highlight.
Will highlight. Disrespect your senses. Hooking up with the hats. It's the 3Cast today. Hopefully, Wilks will be here any minute.
Mm-hmm.
And also, before we get into the show, rest in peace. You know, we review movies like you've never seen it, like you've never heard it, like you'll never experience it before. Different perspectives, laugh, cry, get mad, want to throw something, don't want to go to work tomorrow. You get all them emotions on this show. But rest in peace to AJ Johnson, aka Ezel, passed away. Or at least it was announced.
My back.
Exactly. All right, so tonight
you over there shitting?
Running down the street with the two TVs. High stepping down the street.
Yeah,
with the two TVs.
and that on the heels of your other cat that passed last week, man, at an early age.
Michael K. Williams.
Michael K. Williams, man, that's
great last name.
Yeah, that there, man, is, you know, I was like, wow, you know, them young brothers too, man.
Yeah. There's a lot of brothers passing, or people passing. So rest in peace to both of them and their families. Tonight we'll be doing Untold, which is a series on Netflix. They got a couple different, I think it's 5 of them total. But this one is called Malice at the Palace. We all remember this, but this documentary broke it down almost frame by frame with different perspectives from each player, and I learned quite a bit because you know what you see, what they put on ESPN. I was younger at that time, so I think I just basically took it at face value, whatever they said. But this really got to show
word too.
Yeah, they really showed you what really happened and how it affected each player after. I talked about before. So great show tonight. Dawk, how you doing?
Oh, fantastic, man. Can't wait to get into this. I don't think it's going to take us long. It's going to be an easy chop up on this one. You know, we coming off these, you know, full 2 hour, you know, in detail documentaries. This one was easy. When it was over, I'm like, shit, that's already over?
It was an hour,
Wait.
And then also, what show were you just on, Doc?
I was on one of the newest additions to BS3 Radio, which is Man Talk Mondays. We did a crossover show event with Queen 3 and King, talking about a very interesting topic. Is the church keeping Black women single? And if you have not caught that, hopefully you'll be able to catch it on BS3 Radio's page. Queen 3 page, Man Talk Mondays page. Go back and listen to it. It was hilarious. They have some good dudes on there, and again, that's the latest addition to BS3 Radio and some talented brothers over there. And we had a lot of chemistry joining with them, and they'll be on Queen 3 and King tomorrow too, talking about # relationship goals. So that ought to be equally as funny.
Definitely. All right, so let me get to a couple comments. Big L, you normally comment early in the day at like 12, 16.
Yeah, right. He be ready.
You get in here early. You know what this is. Anytime you got a Kool-Aid cup, that's our man Archie Red. Appreciate him for tuning in. Just Joe, he said fire hats. Reach out to Al High, or I'll give you Al High's information, Joe, and he can definitely get you one of those. Don't miss tomorrow, Queen 3 and King podcast. Yeah, that's gonna be epic because everybody's posting relationship goals.
Yeah, that's right.
How do you get to those relationship goals? Or are you faking?
That's right.
Fake it till you make it. Not you. You don't want the relationship goals?
Yeah.
I got them already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You just wait till tomorrow.
I'm gonna love that show.
Like that. Ooh-wee.
All right, so HRap. Let's get to kind of initial thoughts. Obviously, we know what happened, but what was your thoughts before you watched this? What did you think you were going to see, or were you going to see anything different?
You know what? I'm a podcast nerd, right? I'm a YouTube nerd, so I had heard Jermaine O'Neal talk about this on All the Smoke, and I heard him talk about it on the Knuckleheads. So I was very excited about seeing it, and I was glad to see. It inspired me in regards to podcasting, and it's actually a topic on my show tomorrow. So I didn't see anything new. I didn't even see any different perspective. I took it the way I received it the way J.O. told it, but it was awesome to see. I'm glad that these young athletes in the NFL and the NBA, whether it be We Are Athletes or the Knuckleheads or with the Smoke, and even my main man, Kwame Brown, telling their stories from their perspective instead of giving, I know a lot of people, and this has nothing to do with the documentary, but a lot of people had turned on our young brother, Jameis Winston.
Mm-hmm.
And Jameis Winston was operating from the perspective of, I'm an athlete. These are the perks that athletes at FSU get. And everybody want to call him a crab thief.
Mm-hmm.
And most people in America knew damn well that that was the mindset he was in.
Right.
Because you don't steal. It was still stealing.
Right.
You don't steal that comfortably the first time.
Right.
And I'm just glad to see a lot of these athletes are saying, nah, we ain't gonna do that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Big shout out to whoever that is to say, how y'all feeling? How the week, brothers? Let me go see who that comments by, because that's somebody on the Facebook page. Also, we got Rucker
Park.
Fresh out the joint.
Wow. Wow.
Why are you not smiling, Rucker? Why are you not smiling, Rucker?
You need to bring the bangs back, don't you?
She was feeling the bangs a lot more than that. So you might have to go back to the dress.
Fresh out the joint.
But that was Archie Red to say, how y'all doing? We doing good, man.
Okay.
Real good. Big Illinois, Big Illy in the building. How you doing? Sure enough.
What's up, Big Il? Big Il, you still ain't got that T-shirt, have you? I don't think you and HRap really friends, man. I don't know what the hell is going on.
Hey, man, I'm gonna give you Big Illinois phone number, and you tell me how many times he answered when you call.
You getting called out. You getting called out, Big Illinois.
Hey, the feds is easy to catch.
So my initial take on this, obviously I knew what happened, so I was like, what am I gonna find out in this that I don't know? That's really all I was looking for, because everything else you knew what it was, but I was ready to see the more intricate details about the whole situation. Now, Dawk, you wanted to touch anything else on that?
Yeah, you hit the key word for me, or key phrase that you started with, is that you took it at face value when it happened. And I think you just described what America did. They took it at face value, and that was our problem. And in fact, okay, so Ben said it earlier, we review movies in a way that not anybody else reviews movies, because this is akin to life, right? And that is the problem with 9 times out of 10, with whatever we got going on, whatever's happening in the world, we taking it at face value far too often. And we need to be digging below the surface to find out what the real deal is.
Exactly.
And thank you, Mayhem, for coming in late and interrupting my fantastic point. I was looking good. That was some Emmy award-winning stuff I was just saying. And you want to just pop in like ain't nothing happened.
Now bump all that, man. So
the
link that I have to say, the link that Ben gave in the chat, it sent me to the one and only Dick Greger, and I was just sitting there waiting, like what is going on? I said the brother's trying to rework my contract. So I was like, okay, all right. Wow. I was like, wow, man.
That was a mistake.
Man, how you get fired on your day off, man? I mean, what's going on?
How you get fired on your day off, Craig?
Yeah. Wow.
But we just kind of talking about initial thoughts, or what were you looking to see in this doc that you didn't already know?
You know what? Well, actually, I will say this, because I in the beginning, unless I missed it, I didn't know about the chatter from all the commentary from the newscast. I didn't hear that at first, but I saw some of that on social media kind of when social media was getting started. But yeah, the fact that these different broadcasts and these outlets, and the news and the sports, it's amazing how, you love us when we win in championships, but this thug mentality, this era, it was like, where is this coming from? Like, it was almost like, they were trying to paint a picture as if, they demand what they want. They don't listen to nobody. They don't listen to authority. They just play ball, and it's arch rivals out there. Something crazy. But yeah, I have to say that was new for me. But pretty much seeing it, because I remember watching the game live, and like I was saying, I was telling my wife because she watched it. It was just kind of I didn't know the extent to the point like the fans coming down on the floor and. Throwing stuff. I didn't know it got to the point where, even with Reggie Miller, they were trying to escort him out, arrest him. I didn't know that. But yeah, it was pretty crazy, but it was good. I enjoyed it. It's just that I was like, man, y'all already judging people because you don't even know the rest of the story, though.
Right. None of us, honestly, I don't know if any of us knew the full story because they said this raw footage was not revealed until now.
It was new to me.
Documentary was made. So this was all like brand new information that we didn't know and a lot of people didn't know. But and that's what they kind of led into this with. First time this raw footage was available, and they go straight to Jermaine O'Neal, which I can't wait till we get towards the end because I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. His career was the most affected. And when we get to the end, I'm gonna touch on another point to basically put an exclamation point on that. But I really like the background on Jermaine O'Neal because he came to the league at 17?
Yeah, I'd forgotten that piece of it about
and he was traded. I forgot.
Yeah. He went to Portland, and he wasn't getting any playing time. I'm trying to think who was he playing behind.
Yeah, Rasheed Wallace.
I would say it was Wallace.
Rasheed Wallace, Bonzi Wells. Buck Williams.
Yeah, Portland had a squad.
Yeah, Clyde
Jerome Kersey.
Clyde might have still been there at that
point. No, because Clyde left in '94 to go play with Houston.
Okay. So I mean, he wasn't getting a lot of playing time. He got traded. He's from South Carolina, which I did not know that. At 17 years old, and just imagine. Let's just talk about this for a minute. Just imagine 17 years old. You're getting $1 million, well, however much money you got. It was a couple $1 million contract. Obviously, you got friends that you grew up with. Obviously, you got family. You got aunties, uncles. You got distant cousins coming out of. Hey, what's going on? What's your name again, little cousin? Jermaine. What's going on, Jermaine? So I mean, like, and he handled it. I think well. You think about a lot of the guys that went to the league from high school. It didn't pan out, or obviously they could have had a great career. So I wanted to touch on that aspect real quick. HRap.
You know what? At the risk of making myself sound like that C word that we don't want to use that much. And I'm gonna sound like a sucker when I say what I'm about to say, but y'all understand where I'm coming from. I was most impressed with how articulate he was. Not that he should have been ignorant, super hood, but Jermaine sound like the very well thought, provoking, intelligent, articulate man that we used to want people to represent. Like when me and Dawk were little, if you got on TV and said the word ain't, every black person in America went.
Right. Why he do that?
Right. And Jermaine sounds like a well-read, intelligent brother who was disseminating the thoughts and expressing himself in a intelligent manner. Right. I don't care about the King's English by the Queen's taste, but it wasn't a whole bunch of you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Is how I feel.
And what I like about that is he was doing that even while expressing displeasure. Right. Like I'm not talking to you. I kept my cool, and I'm still giving you this information, clear, concise, and intelligent manner. But I'm pissed off about it.
Yes, and that's what I loved about it. His demeanor projected that.
That's right.
Like I'm still not happy.
Right.
Yeah. He was definitely sitting there as if this went unanswered almost.
Right. That's right.
Like he still had, like, even to this day, he is still searching for the why and what happened.
Yeah.
And of course, that will tail back to what Ben was saying later on. He said when he get to that, because he was, and like he said, his composure, he was sitting there, he was talking, but he still almost had this aura of what is the why? Why? What is going on? What's missing here?
Why me?
Right. Yeah.
Why me? The one that had the most talent out of this argument.
I'll tell you why. Kwame Brown's rant. Kwame Brown's appearance in mainstream America explains this, because instead of maximizing what you have, and what I mean by that, and I'm gonna talk about this a little bit tomorrow too, they took it out on Kwame Brown. They took it out on Jermaine O'Neal. Because see, Kwame was put in the worst possible situation, so he didn't pan out. And we found out those things over the last few months.
Right.
Jermaine O'Neal was put in a horrible situation too, because I remember thinking, why the hell you draft? See, this is why you shouldn't be drafting these high school players. Why draft somebody and let them sit the bench for 4 years? I remember thinking that. But when he hit the floor in Indiana, he dispelled all that don't draft.
Right.
So if you have a narrative of nobody out of high school, and you can put the spotlight on brother from here in Chicago, Eddie Curry, who didn't do as well as he could have, and you can put the spotlight on Kwame Brown and say, see, because let's not forget, rest in peace, our good brother Kobe Bryant was despised by this league. If Kobe Bryant farted in the huddle, they put it on ESPN. He passing gas, he playing games, he's selfish.
He's
Phil
a kid.
Jackson has a best-selling book trashing Kobe Bryant up until y'all didn't see LeBron James coming. So now he's the face of the league because Michael Jordan is gone. So that's why I believe.
Well, one of the things that I want to touch on too is that I was surprised that the documentary went into background stories on each individual player. I didn't expect that. I thought they were just going to tell the story, but I thought that was key in you understanding the story, knowing their background and how they got there. So I'm glad that they did that, and they did it when I say they did it in such a concise manner to where they didn't take a lot of time doing it, but they told you exactly what you needed to know as it pertained to this situation. Right.
They gave you the quick facts that you needed to know.
Cliff Notes version.
It to me, it was almost as if it was kind of counteracting against what the media saw.
No question.
It was like, okay, the media just sees, the thug mentality. But this documentary going into their backgrounds would say, well, these aren't thugs.
Right.
I mean, they may have that no nonsense bullshit attitude.
That's right.
But they're about business. They're about playing ball. You're not just going to talk to me any kind of way.
I wish I had
to run up on me like that.
If I'm the Mavericks, I need me a Jermaine O'Neal. I need me a Ron Artest. I need me them dudes that when they're on the course, they kill us.
Right.
And even they said they didn't realize that we were friends with each other off the court. This is just what we do. I mean, hell, if we took 2-on-2, me and Ben against Wilks and HRap, we go play 2-on-2 half court. We go, hey, it's gonna be when I'm back in the HRap band, it's gonna be some shoving and pushing. And he like, hey, nigga, come on. That's what we do. But when the game over, we gonna go to eat at Golden Corral or wherever and just be cool,
Get over it,
So other people, other racial groups, other ethnicities don't understand that about our culture, man. Is that we don't hate each other. That we just that's competition.
We just jaw jacking.
Right.
You know what? That brings up another thing. Your show is meant that your show and this group meeting that I'm in weekly with my man Mike Neal, y'all are mending fences. Because what you just said is true, because we've entered society where a society has been built around us, whereas that trash talking, which is natural in our community, it's fun in our community, it's matter of fact in our community, that is abusive, toxic masculinity,
right?
And it has been used as a weapon to separate us from our women.
Right, you're right, man.
That's real.
Right,
that's real. So it went
and that was just listening to you guys. I got that just listening to y'all.
Yeah, that's real. So it went to then it went to Steven Jackson. It did a little bit on Steven Jackson. He's from Port Arthur. Talked about him. He ended up getting traded. And the thing I did not know is that most of these guys got traded to Indiana. For some reason, I thought that they were like free agent pickups. They besides Reggie Miller, and Reggie Miller is a legend in Indiana, but probably one of the best shooters of all time.
Yeah, he was Steph Curry before Steph Curry.
Yeah, pretty much.
And number 2 shooter all the time.
And he would talk trash in the face.
Yeah, Ray Allen was a bad boy too.
He was.
But now the GM Donnie Walsh, though, he was actively, this wasn't no accident from him. He trying to find dudes like that. He knew. I mean, just think about this, okay? Again, our community, we can pull back the curtain a little bit and talk. Reggie Miller was a little soft. Yes. He was a soft shooter. Yes. You understand what I'm saying? And that mentality, that team mentality was what that was. Right. And so that GM knew I need to get me some killers on the court.
Right.
That when they're on the court, they don't care nothing but about winning. Matter of fact, somebody made a comment in there and said Jermaine don't like to lose. That was one of his teammates that said that. So that's when I dug that, man. I need people on my team who hate to lose.
Here's the funny thing about what Dawk is saying, because there were times where I was looking down and I thought I heard Dennis Rodman, but it was Ron Arnett talking.
That's right, man. That's a good comparison.
It was that crazy for me when I heard that. I was like, look it up. I'm like, they talking to Dennis Rodman?
That's a good comparison.
You're not afraid to get dirty.
Yeah.
And I'll take what it has to take to get the job done. When you put me now, my personal life and other things and demons will spill over into this. But when you got me in the moment where we trying to knock off some people to get to a championship,
you don't want nobody else but me.
Who else I want?
And you know what? That takes me to this nonsense. And a lot of people think, because he is my favorite ball player ever, and I do defend him relentlessly. And Isaiah Thomas, like this nonsense and this propaganda that they got it. So the whole 90s were nothing but basketball players body slamming each other out of the air. And it's like, nah. And you didn't shake Michael Jordan's hand. So and me being a former defender, defensive back, I don't like offensive players, teammates included.
It's natural,
but one of the few offensive guys I like, they used to jump down his throat all the time. Y'all know him, Michael Irvin. And Michael Irvin used to say it faithfully. You ain't winning no Super Bowl with all quiet boys.
That's right.
You gotta have some dogs. It's just
Hey, I want Justin that he had made a comment. He's doing great work here in Dallas talking about Jermaine O'Neal. Put some more details in that, Justin, about what he's doing, what he's got going on in Dallas.
Yeah, because I did not know that at all. So that's new to me. Information. Queen Nicole commented on the Facebook group. She said, "Hey y'all, I'll figure out who that is right there in a minute." But that's all, my man Nathan. Thank you for tuning in. So keep up the great work. We appreciate that. Nathan.
Y'all put y'all names on.
His name is Nathan.
So me and HRap can help him out there.
You don't need to ask no questions. I told you.
Oh man.
All right, so when they go to Ron Artest, man, that intro was the funniest I think I've heard in a while. When they bring it to somebody and he's like, "Yeah, they told me don't go on the court because you got traded." So, me, I don't listen. So I went on the court. They told me not to. At first, he said they told me not to come in the gym.
Right.
He said, but I don't listen, so I went into the gym. They told me not to come on the court. I went on the court. They told me not to practice, and I just practiced for 2 hours.
Wow,
yeah.
Boy, Ron and I remember him at St. John's. I remember him coming into the league. Ron was that's truly the way he was.
Yeah.
Every place that he was, and I think even him. I really wanted to hear him talk about it because there was always mumbles that it was something going on with Ron, but I never really heard, or it was never explained.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to hear what he had to say and let him say it, because people will, like he said, people will talk for me, but nobody would want to hear what I had to say or let me talk. So that was very key.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, you look at the picture behind you, right? Ron Artest is the dude. And I appreciated them highlighting him the way that he did because, number one, we got to look at this aspect of it. Before I get there, HRap, if you pick that drink up one more time and put that pinky out there like that, we going to have a problem. I'm just going to say that. But check this out, though. I'm glad they told us perspective because you got to remember back then, mental health and stuff like that wasn't talked about like it is right now. It was frowned upon heavily, and it was not understood, and there was this stigma attached to it, right? But so nobody understood Ron Artest, and they just said, okay, he's acting like this, he's a bad dude. You know, that was the easy way to handle that situation. So I'm glad they let him talk, because I walked away, because I got news for you. I was feeling some kind of way about Ron Artest back in the day. And by him talking right now, I walked away fond of Ron Artest and fond of his game and wishing, man, I wish I would have spent more time paying attention to his game and when he played and, you know, maybe had him play here. So I thought this documentary did very well for him. And just like HRap said, Jermaine O'Neal did a good job talking. I thought Ron Artest did a fantastic job illustrating his point and his concern. He didn't turn away from his mental issues. He talked about it. He goes, man, I was trying to get away. I was trying, you know. So I appreciate the Ron Artest piece in this for sure.
I want to answer Big Illinois question. Yes, he did apply Circuit City when he played for the Bulls.
Yep.
Because he wanted to get the discount.
Circuit City old school too.
Yeah.
They was getting ready to close. So
that was a wrap.
Wow.
Those are final
But you know
years.
what though? I totally agree with everything you said, Dawk. But I don't think Ron Artest had I don't think it's mental issues. I think what America does, and I've been preaching this for years. Like our brother Clinton Portis is going through it right now. He's tried to commit insurance fraud. Him and Tamara Vanover, and it's been, you know, they always just throw these statistics out here about most NFL players are broke 3 to 5 years after. I think coming from South Jamaica, Queens, coming from Chicago, coming from someplace in Dallas, coming from Los Angeles, coming from West Atlanta, or wherever you come from, Philadelphia, wherever you come from, and wherever we are, whatever areas we populate. Mike Tyson is a perfect example.
Right.
You raised me in a war zone, and then you want me to act like Jermaine O'Neal is acting right now.
Yeah,
exactly. I think you get. Come on, man.
That's a good point.
We giving these 19-year-old boys,
so it creates the anxiety.
Exactly.
And when they don't deal with that well, they get depressed. So yeah, you're right. He doesn't naturally have those problems, but the situation caused.
Exactly.
I'm with it. I agree.
Yeah, because that's too much. Like I had a conversation with a friend about 3 months ago, and this person is telling me that Mike Tyson should have saved some of his money. I was like, and I real quick did the math on his work. I said, do you understand that Mike Tyson went to work up at one point in his life? He had been at work a total, not practice, the actual job of fighting, 3 hours, and he received like $80 million. So how the hell do you tell a 19-year-old that has literally worked for 3 hours in his life and they've handed him a $75 million check, and then this is a dude who grew up, mother was strung out on drugs, and said he learned how to fight dudes off from trying to rape him. Right. And now you want him to go, well, now that I got that $75 million, I need to set up a target IRA.
401k.
Let me take my portfolio.
Right. I need to diversify my portfolio. And it's a reason mainstream media, and again, I'm talking about this tomorrow, so it's a reason we just signed King Dawk to the Dallas Mavericks for $475 trillion. And then when you miss the first free throw of the season, that's what we get for all that money.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Let the Cowboys
see Zeke Elliott right now.
Exactly.
I was just about to say, let the Cowboys lose 2 games in a row, and
Dak,
Zeke
that interception Dak threw Sunday afternoon. I know Joker was saying $40 million, huh?
Yeah,
give me another one of them. Give me another one of them natural lights out of there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, Dawk, I got one for you, Dawk. Give me one of them hams.
Yeah, you're right.
But,
we don't look at that enough, man. And I've talked to a couple of professional athletes that I got, close with through this church that I used to go to. And man, to a man, every time I'd have conversations with them, being, Roy and a couple other guys, they were like, man, y'all don't know what we go through. I was asking them questions, assuming that they had some of these things in place, some of these support systems in place. And he's like, man, we ain't got nobody telling us that. Because I was talking to them about their relationship with the media. And I was like, man, I see the media the same way I do corporate America. You got to play them boys, in order to get them to work for you. And he had a conversation, pulled me to the side, said, tell me a little bit more about what you're thinking on that. And he was like, I'm sure you got somebody that's telling you this. So if I'm not trying to, he's like, man, we ain't got nobody telling us that kind of stuff, and the better you are, the more they leave you alone and think they can't tell you that, which is why you get, prima donnas, that term and stuff like that, because they don't think you can accept that constructive criticism,
Right. All right, shout out to Golden Brooks. She sound like she know what you're talking about. Also, my man Lennon Crisp tuning in over on the Facebook group. Now, and one thing I heard him say, because I think there was Aaron Glenn or somebody that got cut. I don't know if you remember that year he was playing for the Cowboys. I think that was under Parcells era, and people were ragging on Aaron Glenn. And it was like, y'all don't understand, when people get cut, that's their livelihood. That's like you getting fired from your job.
Right.
And now you kind of you out and you.
And even if you're super talented and are likely to get picked up, there's still some moments where you're thinking that's it. Right. That you're thinking, okay, that's it. And until that phone ring from your agent saying, okay, Miami just called or whoever,
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right, man. That's troubling.
And Roy was a prime example when he with the Cowboys, and like Dawk said, he was going to church.
Betrayed, man.
Yeah, he was going to church and everything, and and every time he come by, everybody asking him, "What team you about to sign with?" We're like, what's going on? What's happening?
Right.
And he's like, "Well, the Bengals are looking at me, but they can't sign me right now." So I mean, like you got to being there and talking to him. Hey, you really got to know, like, exactly that messes with you. Ben Simmons is a prime example of this. You say, oh, you give this guy all this money. Like first, and I think this is what we do too. This is what the media does. They put these guys on a pedestal after they have one good playoff series.
Right.
And then when they don't do the same thing, we're like, oh, well, you did it back in 2004. Why you can't do it now? And it was like, what if that was just him playing at his absolute best at that moment? And that's not his every night in and out game.
They don't understand the zone you get into.
Yeah,
exactly. So then when they mess up, it's like, oh, why you didn't do that? So I mean, and they're human. Like Ben Simmons is human. People are compiling him as much as they want. The dude is human. He's gonna make mistakes. He's gonna say I want to get traded, and he said I want to trade value and all this other stuff. But if he gets in the right situation, you cannot tell me he will be the best player on that team. And that's
Chicago.
Which is to bring it back to this documentary, which is why the Indiana Pacers was mopping the floor with the whole league when they got them boys together. They was mopping the floor.
Yeah,
exactly.
And they knew like that before. And the funny thing was that the NBA, I don't think they had seen anything like that before. And it was quiet because you didn't hear a lot of it.
Not in that era, right?
In that era,
it reminded me of the bad boys of Detroit, like the Detroit Pistons.
Back in the
day, that's who they reminded me of. They had these gritty players that would, if there's a loose ball, they getting on the floor.
Oh, they going at it.
And whatnot. So in this era, which was the beginning of the jump shooting era, right? Cement, Reggie Miller, and all them other boys, but they were still them gritty players that you needed to get a rebound and you needed to, bow somebody up or whatever the case may be. They were not comfortable with that at all. I think going into it, even before the Malice at the Palace and all that, I'm sure behind the scenes they was like, "What the hell happening with these jokers?"
Right?
They whooping everybody, and we scared of them.
Yeah,
and you know what? quiet as kept. That's why you don't hear about the last Piston championship. Because let's not forget, nobody wanted Ben Wallace. Everybody thought Rasheed Wallace was a malcontent.
That's right.
Chauncey Billups was a washed-up bum.
Very similar.
And Michael Jordan, the great Michael Jordan, got rid of Rip. He wanted Jerry Stackhouse on his team.
Yeah. Let's go back to the comment that Justin made. So this website right here, Drive Nation Sports. I actually went to it real quick, and Jermaine O'Neal, maybe he's the founder. I'm sure this is his organization. He's a part of it. But yeah, he's got a gym. This is a follow-up. He's got a gym in Dallas, and he's working with some kids. And he's got a 7-foot sophomore that he's working with right now. So, but that's what it's about. Like, again, he had like the most talent, I believe, really. Because that's what they said in this documentary. That's what the GM said. That's what Reggie said. That's what that's what everybody was. It was
Reggie was saying he was getting ready to turn the torch. He's like, this is a new French. Reggie had already resigned within himself to say, okay, I'm just a jump shooter now. It's his team.
Right.
Reggie was already mentally going there.
So now when we talked about, like Dawk said, there's not people giving them this information. And that's why they had Chris Carter did a symposium this a couple of years ago with the NFL. They're having guys talk to him. But imagine what Jermaine O'Neal can impart in this 7-foot sophomore in Simmons High School, like to get them up where he needs to be. This was a comment by Lennon. I think talking about Ben Simmons. I feel like Ben would be more suited for a role player. I don't think he can really take on the leadership unless he goes to a team where there's a star there, and could be true. And another point is when I think it was Jermaine talking when he was in high school, he was a star player on the team. And then he goes to Portland, and he's the fourth person at his position on the team.
Right. And and that's another mental hurdle too, man. You know, you used to being the dude. You know, that's a shock to your system. You get to the pros, and now everybody run a 4.3. Hell, you know, you're like, whoa.
Yeah. Your 4.3 is nothing compared to everybody else on the floor.
Yeah. And so then he'll do it, and you're like, shit, I'm slow.
Right, exactly. So, man, this documentary, I think, uncovered a lot. So it talked about how Jermaine was the best interior defender. Then you had Ron Artest was the best perimeter defender. Then it went to the Eastern Conference Finals. This is kind of where I think that rivalry started. And they obviously they played to the end of it, but Ron Artest had a late game foul. I don't remember this, but he had a flagrant foul, which then he ended up getting kind of dragged for that. But he was honest. I don't know if he touched on that, but he was talking about the foul that started the brawl where he didn't want the guy to get the layup. And that's like basketball 101. You're not gonna let the guy get the easy shot. No matter
that was the start of that going away. Because back when Magic and Isaiah and Bird and all them boys, Lambeer and Kurt Rambis and all them boys, you wasn't getting no layup and no play.
Yeah, you're not coming in here with that, man.
You're not getting none either.
Get it.
And that Bad Boys. And that Bad Boys documentary, that 30 for 30 on the Bad Boys, wow, that is a great one. And Lambeer grew up in a suburban neighborhood. It wasn't as if he was like the
Chicago suburb,
right?
Chicago, And he comes on his team, but he was like, I know what my role needs to be.
Yeah, even Danny Ainge, cats like that. But you ain't never heard nobody call Danny Ainge a thug. And Danny Ainge ass done did. You want to talk about the dirtiest boy?
That's what I'm saying. Even we were just talking about like the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah,
when they were cut through, nobody was talking about thugs.
No, it was like they were like that's the game.
It was cute, yeah,
and that's the era that it was in.
Right.
So they go into this Eastern Conference Finals. That foul happened. Reggie's starting to think like, okay, this is the team. This is the part I think. I like to hear Reggie talk because he's the one that never got a championship. A lot of these great players, he's the one that never got one. So towards the end of his career, he's thinking like, okay, this is the squad right here. Like we got the opportunity. And then they go against the Pistons, which they were just beating everybody during that time. You know, Richard Hamilton, Wallace, Ben Wallace. I mean, like they had everything. So I thought that was an integral part to how this rivalry kind of got started.
Yeah.
which I didn't really realize that. Well, go ahead,
yeah,
Dawk.
and Reggie said something very interesting in the thing. He's like, and I think it holds true year after year after year, especially when you get toward the playoffs. He said, we're all close in talent. When you get these teams together, it's marginal as far as the differences between which team is the more talented. It becomes a mental issue at that point. Who's stronger mentally is generally who's going to win, not who the most talented.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and that's true in playoffs at almost every level. Every level. The point is not the talent. It's also it's who's gonna make the mistakes at the wrong time.
That's right.
That's why I always tell people it's like, man, you're a different animal in playoff time. Yeah, you're a whole different beast at playoff time.
Shout out to Courtney Harden. Thank you for tuning in. He says he loved the documentary. He's a big documentary fan.
That's the first time we got the player's perspective. So
really.
It's like eating fresh cereal, baby.
Yeah, when Dr. J placed the hell out of Bird.
I loved it, Justin. I loved it.
You know what? One of the most overlooked things in the history of 30 for 30 documentaries is the beginning of that Piston documentary. Mm-hmm. And everybody was like, the bad boys. Da, da, da. And James Worthy says, the Pistons? Mm-hmm. We don't worry about the Celtics being dirty. Right. We don't worry about the Pistons.
Exactly.
Yeah. They could get away with it, man. Right to this day, because I was a Lakers fan, okay? And back right to this day, Kevin McHale, Danny Ainge, Dennis Johnson, Larry. Man, if I saw them jokers at the grocery store right now, I'm throwing a bow.
Sucker punching them. Hit them over here with one of those bread loaves.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny because Dawk, right, man. During that period, we live in this, I love everybody era of the world. Mm-hmm. And when me and Dawk was coming up, the country was split right down the middle.
You better believe it.
If you was black, you were a Laker fan.
That's right.
Yeah. You were white, you were a Celtic fan. You had a sprinkle or two in.
Yeah, right. Because Dennis Johnson was the equalizer over there.
Right. Dennis Johnson, the Chief made
the Chief.
8% of the black community likes the Celtics.
Yeah. Oh, you were an odd duck. If you liked the Celtics back then, we looked at you like, you got a fro too, don't you?
Showtime Lakers, man.
You got a curl.
But now if we would have known the Chief, Robert Parrish, smoked as much weed as we did back now, if we knew that back then, he'd have had some more black fans for the Celtics.
I didn't know that.
We didn't know that. That's why they called him the Chief.
I did not know that. I thought he was because he was the oldest person on the team.
That's because he was on that peace pipe.
Yeah. Hey, Ben, he got arrested once because he had somebody UPS and weed.
UPS.
And when you think about it, if you think back about looking at Robert Parrish and seeing his face and stuff on some of the deals, and you find out that he's a smoker, and you're like, oh, that makes sense.
He was chill. He was ultra chill though, so I could definitely
Jordan,
understand.
all of them knew. They like, that's the Chief. They knew he was on that mad, but which is why they couldn't get him going in some of these playoffs. He was the last one to get mad. He had the whole Celtics team mad, and he still chill with everybody.
He used to be standing up with his hands on the Celtics.
Like, what's everybody doing?
Game over with yet? Oh, okay, we still playing. And Courtney kind of echoes that. Lakers were for black fans, Celtics for white fans.
And guess what? Somebody may see that. Highlight that, Courtney, about the Lakers. And some people may see that as negative, but for some reason, there wasn't anything negative about that back then.
No, it wasn't.
It was still a positive feeling, right?
Yeah.
And it was a good rivalry, you know, and I guess because it was connected to sports.
Yeah. We didn't hate. You love Larry Bird as a sports
respected
fan,
the hell out of it.
But you hated him when the playoffs started.
Yeah.
That was me with Kobe kind of later on because I wasn't a Lakers fan, but I respected his game just because nobody could on any night nobody could beat Kobe. Or Kobe would single-handedly beat you. So the Chief always looked high. It was Courtney.
I got a
question. Do the right thing.
How much did Bill Laimbeer blow Robert Parrish's high when he caught him out there and they started beating?
on several occasions.
Now, talking about fights real quick, there was a punch I think this guy hit Was it Rudy Tomjanovich or did he hit?
No, that was
Carlisle.
BJ Carlissimo, wasn't it?
He talking about Rudy T when Kermit Washington hit him, and according to Rudy Tomjanovich, he thought the scoreboard fell on him. He thought the jumbotron fell. He almost
it was like, is that you, Jesus?
Rudy T almost died that night.
Wow.
I remember. I mean, I don't know when that happened, but I've seen that clip numerous times, and I'm like, man.
I thought BJ Carlissimo got into it with a player too.
He did.
Yeah, he did. The Trail Streetwear choked the book about him.
Yeah,
hold on. He
didn't choked him.
Yeah, he didn't get into it with a player. The player got into it with him. Yeah, it was kind of like a.
But Courtney make a good point about Larry Bird too. Back in the day, he said he had some black in him, and I got news for you. Just recently, I was at Dirk's last deal, and Bird was there because they brought all the players that Dirk liked growing up. So they had Bird and Scottie Pippen and your boy out of Seattle. What's his name?
Was it Kemp?
That's right, Sean Kemp.
A
couple other guys, and you could take Bird. Bird's so cool, man. You know, and Jordan will tell. I mean, Magic and Jordan will tell you that Bird a cool white dude. They'll tell you, you know. Yeah. But again, he's a victim of the media portrayal just as much as black athletes are.
Right.
You know, and they don't get a fair shake. You know, Troy Aikman is a good example. When Michael Irvin was in court, Troy Aikman was there.
Troy Aikman was on it
first. You know, so
and Bird honed his skills playing against black kids in Indiana.
Yeah,
he has no problem. And Barkley always tells this story that he was heating up the Philadelphia 76ers, and he had like 30 in the middle of the game. He went up to Barkley. He said, "Man, I'm really feeling disrespected." He's like, "Why?" He was like, "Y'all put the white dude on me."
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Let's get to some other comments. The white guy walking in the hood with Larry Bird, with the Larry Bird.
Yeah.
When he broke his face. Yeah, I thought that dude died. I mean, the way he got punched, I don't know. He didn't see it coming, or he was like, "Oh, he's not actually going to hit me." He didn't even try to put his hands up or nothing.
I wonder if Rudy Tomjanovich, because you know he done got in trouble for DWI and stuff like that. I wonder if he started drinking after that, or he was already drunk that night.
He was already drunk.
Rudy T almost got killed that night. He said that punch felt like a hammer hit him. That's exactly what it looked like. It looked like one of those cartoons when they get the big wooden hammer and they start just hitting you over the head with it.
Yeah, man, Cameron Washington ran and socked that dude in the face. Rudy T socked off the scoreboard fell on me.
Man. All right, so they talked about the flagrant foul, and then it kind of got into Ron. And then went to Ron, and he said, I had anxiety so bad, I was trying to, like Dawk said, he was trying to escape. He said anxiety, and then he also said depression. That he was saying. And then, so kind of going into that season, which I thought this was hilarious. I don't remember this part, too. He was coming out with an album. He was like, when I get the album done, I'm gonna come to play.
And I'm gonna focus on basketball. Yeah. And he's telling them, like, I'm serious. This ain't no joke. Right. You know, like, I gotta finish my music first, then I can focus completely on basketball. And they looking at him like, we paying you millions to do this, you know.
Right.
And he
Reggie was like, you want to break now? It's like at game 12. You want to break now?
Yeah, man, go take a nap, man.
But that like Wilks said, that immediately made me think of Rodman when he was like, I need a break.
Yeah, Rodman ended up at an award show during the playoffs.
Right.
Artest tell him, I'm going to see, I'm sorry I had a death in the family. I got to go to a funeral. They say, they look up, he on the Force Awards presenting an award.
Right. I don't know what I'm doing up here, but I'm up here.
Yeah, right. You can tell it in. He was just not, he goes, I don't know why I'm here. But shit, let me present this award.
Exactly. I don't think you wanted to see big men. You're talking about that fight, and we'll get to that in a minute. We're gonna break that down here in just a minute.
Wilks on the Shiner tonight.
Yeah, man.
We got the Bach man out.
Yeah.
So it comes to November 19, 2004. Friday night. It was a Friday night game, and they really kind of led into this like it's Friday. People just getting off. People was drunk, and they were getting blown out.
We're talking about Detroit.
Yeah.
You know, They water ain't good. They got to drink something.
Hey, I'll take offense to that. They drink my water. They drink out of Lake Michigan. No, we got good water up here.
I love it.
So they kind of lead into it. It's Friday night. Reggie was out. He broke his finger or his hand or something. Then it talked about Ben Wallace, which I did not know this. His brother passed away. I'm assuming maybe it was in the week.
None of the players were talking about. They didn't know that because they respect each other enough, man. If they'd have known that, they'd have took it down a notch over the whole game period. They respect each other like that, man. They don't play with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And they talked about the security. So there was the 2 cops that was there.
Wasn't any there.
Really? Wow. 3 cops?
Right.
3. That's what we're talking about. And then we got security guards with flashlights. Like, hey,
when you're blatantly saying, oh, well, you got people liquored up and then you put them in. You already know what's going on.
You could tell the cops and whatever security they had, they was off somewhere. If you paid attention to the film, you see them jokers come in late, like, oh shit, something's going on.
Right.
They was in the back eating popcorn or nachos or
some hot dogs. Like, oh no, hold on, hot dog.
Yeah.
So they really led into it really well with some background info. The Friday night game, Pistons getting whooped. Basically, Ron Artest is all over the floor, dominating. They're thinking like, okay, this is it's an easy win. There's really nothing we need to worry about. We could come in.
You got him and Steven just to set the dynamics of their team. They're arguing as teammates about who gonna guard the best player on the other team, man.
Right.
Them some dogs, man.
Right, man.
They like, as opposed to, some other teams, a joker, if you wanted to take the best player, they're like, okay, that's cool. I get it. Them jokers like, nah, I want the best player. Hell.
Yeah. And Ron Artest was a dominant defender wherever he was. Another one's different here. So they get throughout the game. They're up double digits. And it gets to the point in the game where Ben's going up for a layup. And Ben Wallace says, I thought that was a hard foul during that point in the game. But again, it goes back to what I said. Ron Artest is not going to let anybody get an easy layup no matter what the situation is.
Right.
But key point, I don't know if you could say this. I'll let you go ahead, HRap.
You skipped over the part where the point guard told him, Ron,
Jamal Tinsley, you can get your foul now. I'm like, why would you tell him that?
That's exactly what the whole team said. And they said as soon as they told Ron Artest that, he looked at him like, huh? You can get your foul. He said it twice too. Because it didn't quite register.
Right.
When you tell him that, you're not telling him to go just ticky-tack, get a foul. Right. You are telling him to go knock somebody out.
Go clothesline somebody.
Right.
Yeah. So and they should have had Jamal Tinsley on this because he got an answer for that, but he wasn't the ones that came on. So it kind of gets to that point. It's a hard foul.
And real quick, you talked about the double-digit lead. You got to say it was okay. So it's 97-82, which is a 15-point lead, right? In the fourth quarter. That's different than a 15-point lead today. Today a 15-point lead, you still in this.
Right. Yeah.
You get a couple threes.
Live by the 3.
It was church, 97-82.
Yeah. So they get to that point, and it's a hard foul, and Ben basically comes down again, going back to his brother just passing. He probably wasn't like, I'm not taking any mess tonight at all.
Yeah.
Right.
They're getting you like pile everything on. They're getting beat. They're at home. Fans are starting to leave.
Yeah.
And Reggie brought this point up, which anybody want to jump in. Fans started coming down because they were getting beat. So Reggie's like, okay, all the people that's already liquored coming down, lower it down, and they're already upset. Exactly.
The people who are more likely to be drinking the beers and
stuff, and throwing
our seats. But the season ticket holders, they're starting to get out of there because they know we're losing. Let's get out of here tonight. Let's go ahead and get a jump on the restaurant or whatever we're going to do. So fans start moving down. That normally ain't in those seats.
Right. Exactly.
No restaurants in Detroit.
Wow, man.
Wow. They got pizza spots.
Wow. I know they got Little Caesars because that's where they
hot dog stands. That's it. Sorry, people. I ain't lying.
They got JoJo's Pizza or something like that over there.
Little Caesars.
Pizza.
So
really?
Sorry.
Really, man.
I couldn't help it.
Take another drink, man. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh,
he got the shiner on the right, and he got the drink. Oh, what? That's perfect. I guess he was stressed out about the link. Just couldn't get on.
This link, man. It's like, I need a double.
Double it up.
Yeah.
So the push happens. It's a melee, and then they go to Reggie, and they're like, "This stuff happens all the time." You're thinking, okay, it's they're pushing each other and stuff. And then Steven Jackson says, "Nobody wanna fight in the NBA. We're not trying to fight. Nobody really trying to fight.
It's WWE."
All right. That's right. This like, this fake punching.
It's great.
So they get through the whole melee. Ron Artest goes and lays down on the scorer's table.
Oh man,
I do remember that part, and I thought maybe he just wanted to get away from it, and they bring it to him, and he said, "I was in therapy." So go ahead, Dawk.
No, he was trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I let me get away from this. Let me take a breath.
Right.
And he laid down on the score. Yeah, that's unorthodox, but shit. It wasn't like
his history
slap somebody. He went to get away. He did a very non-aggressive move.
Exactly. And like they said, he was going to therapy. There was a therapist traveling with the team, and he said, "I'm gonna take my 5. I'm gonna take 5 minutes."
Was this a TO move before TO disrespecting the star?
Laying on the table.
This kind of a
no, they didn't see that way. Not the players. Like none of Detroit's players would have saw that as a
fans.
The fans just had an opportunity to throw something at him.
Right.
Yeah. Shout out to Mickey Delaney. Thank you for tuning in. So he lays on the scorer's table, and I think it goes to Ben Wallace, and he says, he just was like, "What?" Yeah. Like he didn't think it was disrespectful. He was just like,
"What are you doing?"
He was like, "This is weird." Yeah, it was weird. So nobody's seen it as, besides the fans, in my opinion.
Right. Oh yeah, because they looked it up.
Nobody's seen it as disrespectful.
Right.
And so he's laying on the scorer's table, and it goes to Steven Jackson again, and he's like, this cup, and it's coming like out of slow motion.
Yeah. Everybody said it was slow motion.
And how in the world did that cup still have beer in it? It was in the air, like going like this, upright with beer in it, just like traveling. Exactly. I'm like, who? He must have done this before, obviously.
Right.
And it lands directly on Ron Artest. Does he know? I think he had an idea of who threw it.
He knew,
but he didn't know who exactly
direction.
Yeah.
So he ran
right by the
whichever one looked like a dish bag.
Y'all missed this one important part. When he threw that beer and Ron Artest jumped up, the dude who actually threw the beer did like this. It was.
I didn't see that part.
I didn't see that.
That clown.
Wow.
That
but,
clown.
But then again, this is the same guy that denied it. Somebody, that wasn't me.
Right. Yeah. He's I got a bunch of words for that dude. Man.
Yeah.
Clown. Yeah. And he's like, that wasn't me.
Wow.
But I didn't realize that. And then he tried to grab him. Well, he pointed, and then he did this little loose, like,
right.
Let me try to help this guy.
Yeah.
And the guy that got punched is like, I'm just sitting next to this guy.
Right.
So.
Oh man. Oh, and then the other guy that threw the beer. Oh my goodness. I think, man, Steven laid that dude out. Like he disappeared from the scene. He hit that dude so hard because he said it was another beer that came in. And he turned around and just laid that other guy out.
Yeah, because Steven Jackson said as soon as I saw Artest in the fans, he goes, "We ride together."
Yeah.
He said, so I wasn't thinking right, wrong. I'm riding with my cat, and if he up there, I'm up there.
Right.
Yeah. And that's exactly what he said at the beginning. Is that I'm a loyal person, and I'm gonna ride for my teammates no matter what. And
he used an example that I use all the time. He's like, we work together or whatnot. If we go out to eat somewhere and we get into it, we all get into it. If we get on the elevator, somebody starts some trash with you, they start some trash with me. That's just the way it is,
Right.
You're right.
And so I had respect for Steven Jackson too, because
no question, man.
You didn't get
he raw.
You didn't get his side. He is.
Yeah,
he
raw.
Yeah, I was on the block
in that documentary. He said, "I ain't kissing no ass for nobody." He said,
"He was like, and I ain't talking about this again. Don't ask me about this again." Which I'm sure they've been asked about it many times. So many times. So, it started to escalate. Obviously, they're going in the stands, and the fans are starting to come down on the floor. And now you realize the thing I really just started to realize is that it was the whole arena basically against those guys with the Pacers. Right. I mean, which is, you maybe say 15 guys total.
Much better.
Much better.
Good improvement. But I didn't realize that the whole arena was against them. Like the cops. Everybody.
That's what I was saying earlier. Like, I felt like that just was something they didn't want to get out. They just wanted to show one side of it. That
no question.
Oh, look at them. They're just running wild. They're thugs. Look how they acted. Mm-hmm. But they're not telling you that, okay, well, this started with this cup flying through the air, the push, and then but the escalated part, it was just like, okay, this cup is flying through the air, it's gonna hit him. Then you got this guy coming down on the floor with his hands balled up. Like, man,
he's coming he's squaring up.
Have you never ever seen Ron Artest ever? And this dude just ran up like. And Ron Artest like,
you're about to die.
It was like you
right.
I think he had a split second and was like, I know this dude not okay.
Right. He did.
He did.
You could tell in his body language.
Exactly.
And that guy's another clown in this whole scenario where they already knew they had problems with him before the game even started.
Right.
Because he was a season ticket holder. And I think it was the GM or
somebody had called him by name.
That's a good point. They had already talked. There were some season ticket holders that they were going to revoke their privileges that night. Because they had already been rowdy and they in the middle of it. So they're like, we were already going to tell them you're losing your privileges, you lose your seats, and that's big. They don't do that.
He's not even aware.
Holders, man.
Oh, no, not at all.
That's the worst case scenario for a franchise, any franchise to do that.
You don't want to do that to fans' pain. You don't want to do it unless it's something drastic.
Right.
Yeah, and apparently he didn't even realize how his life got saved if Jermaine O'Neal did not connect that punch.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was the best miss.
Drunk and you finna get hit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Reggie said that's the best miss ever.
Right.
Right. Exactly. Like what happened?
And so by the time they were all on the court and there's mayhem going on, and finally the security guards who got the wiping cheese off their mouth running on the court, this dude come in shaking his mace. He's shaking it up.
Yeah.
Doing like this, getting ready to spray. And Reggie Miller looking at him because he getting ready to spray. I think was it Ron Artest?
He
getting ready to spray him. And Reggie like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be protecting us. You need to be getting in.
Right.
Yeah.
He goes, this is Ron Artest. And the security guard was like, I didn't know who Reggie Miller was.
Protecting while black.
It was like, really? You don't know who Reggie Miller is?
Right.
But you're at a basketball game. So that part, obviously,
that tells you they were in the back.
They were in the back.
No idea.
Eating pizza.
I don't even think they went in the back. When that red light at Krispy Kreme come on.
they were at Little Caesars.
Yeah.
Right.
But how about this for a turn of what typically takes place? The media did what the media does. They paint the picture that they paint. Hooligans, thugs. You should have. There was comments like, "You should have never gave them niggas no money."
Right.
That's how they act. The NBA has to send a message. This is a hip hop sport. A player made I think it was Steven Jackson made a good point. He goes, hockey fight all the time.
All the time.
Will drop the gloves and go at it.
For little.
Nobody say nothing.
Right.
They're not thugs, whatever. But for a turn, the cops actually tried to get it right. Not the cops that night, but the detectives that were assigned to it, they actually tried to get it right.
Right.
And the first thing he said,
that was pretty good to see.
Yeah. And the first thing he said is, this is going to be a long investigation. So he wasn't just they didn't just take the camera footage. Well, they did that, but they had to chop it up. They interviewed. You think of how many people were there. So it took a massive amount of time to even figure out who the guy was. And the link was that was a brother of somebody.
Yeah,
he dated.
Knew him personally.
He knew him.
Uh-huh.
So that part. So they get down on the floor. Obviously, they're trying to get everybody off the floor. You got fans running on the floor. You got Jermaine O'Neal running in trying to punch this guy. He ended up slipping. If he would have connected on that one, that would have been a problem. And then that guy, I don't know what his name is, really doesn't matter. But he's like, then he gets on camera and he's like, "Oh, I'm so hurt." He went
the one that jumped down trying to fight.
Exactly.
That was the one that was gonna lose his season ticket.
He went the Harvey Weinstein route. The dude ain't never had a walker, and then when it's time to go to court,
right?
You got a walker now. Get out of here, boy.
Right.
So he's all like, "I'm hurt," and immediately, and they brought it to a lady that was a security guard. I thought this was because Erica, my wife, was watching it with me. She was like, they're trying to sue, obviously. Like this is they were trying to align themselves up to get a big payday. And they were basically saying in this like holding room, like, yeah, well, it would be funny if we try to sue. And obviously they didn't get any money from it. They end up actually getting charged for it, which was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
It kind of shows them walking back to the back. Steven Jackson is hyped because he was like, I stood up for that was his
right.
He felt like I did what I was supposed to do. Ron Artest is coming back. His jersey is ripped.
Dude carrying him out the court like this. And why you got your hand?
Like, why you doing
that? You can get somebody out the field a number of different ways. Why are you doing my man all like that? And
he's like, but I think he said too later on. He was saying he was trying to hide himself.
Yeah,
this is maybe because he felt. I don't know. Was he saying that he felt embarrassed?
I don't know, but to talk about Ron's mentality, man, when he got to the locker room, they said first thing he asked everybody is like, "Man, y'all think we're gonna get in trouble?" That tells right there. This dude ain't nobody trying to, he got no ill will. There was no malice at the palace.
Right.
This dude was just trying to play basketball. He's like, "Man, y'all think we're gonna get in trouble?"
Jermaine just lost it.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? What do you mean we get in trouble? Like, that's the dumbest question. But you can see that the tension between Jermaine and I think Ron was already getting to a point, and I think at that point, because I think they were going at each other, or at least Jermaine was going at Ron at that point in the locker room. But they all get back there, and I mean, I can't even imagine what's going through their heads right now. Well, Jermaine's phone is blowing up,
right?
And then he says, an officer tries to come in there and arrest him, and he was like, "Well, hold on,
I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, you call my lawyer." Yeah, so he stood up for himself in that respect, but. Immediately after that, the next day, obviously it was a media storm, and obviously you had Stephen A. You had a Stephen A. signing.
No, let me stick my boy on him. HRap, go. I need to know what you think about what that.
Right.
Look here. Go ahead, man.
Needless to say, I think Stephen A. Smith. That was he won the Sucker the Millennial Award that night because people like Stephen A. Smith, and there's a lot of people that walk around our community that do the same thing. They want to tell the truth. They want to do the right thing. And it ends up, all you do is you hold up our community and kick us right square. What you do is you hold us up like this and you put us in front of the ass kicking machine and go get a roll of quarters and wear our asses out. And he has zero perspective. And the one time I heard him speak his mind that I knew was his mind, and even a father of a daughter, I agree with him, is when he said, some of these women in these domestic situations egg these things on. We need to get everybody counseling. And that lady, Michelle Beale, said, she violated all the rules at ESPN by knocking him publicly. And then he's been on Michelle Beale's side, even though she's no longer there ever since. He's the biggest sapsucker in the history of the universe.
And he went on, and not only did he talk about it once, but he went on every single opportunity and every single station. And he was David Stern's mouthpiece, basically.
Right.
Whatever David Stern did, he said, "Oh, this is something that they had to do."
Right.
Yeah. That's why he made $10 million a year now.
Right.
Yeah. And he said it, and this is a kind of a separate topic, But he said they asked. He was on some podcast or something. It was like, so what do you think about Max? And he was like, oh, they said, did you have Max removed from First Take? And he was like, yeah, I did. It was like, there's nothing wrong with him, but I did. And that's obviously because he has a lot of power that's being given to him. That's being given to him because of what he
how he got there. Yeah,
that dude is the Candace Owens of sports, man. That dude's. Oh, I can't even go into that. It's just whatever, man. That's it. That's all I can get.
Yeah, when they show clips interviewing him, I literally got sick to my stomach watching him talk.
That dude, man.
I didn't know he was around during that time.
Me either.
Oh yeah, but I think he was just kind of quiet. I mean, he was there, but
he was a writer.
He didn't have the voice that he has now. He didn't even talk. He didn't even talk like he talks now.
No,
you notice how he's talking. He even neutered. He was like,
he's found, and that's why I said I think he's the Candace Owens of sports because he's found that avenue that works and he stays in that lane.
I would say he the Jesse Lee Helms of sports because initially, if y'all, this is a me and Dawk situation. When me and Dawk was younger, instead of Jerry Springer, was this dude named Phil Donahue. And Phil Donahue,
the old dude,
he used to have that dude Jesse Lee Helms. Who on there talking about the whole stroll and all that, and he doing all that. He used to be super pro black man, and he realized, wait a minute, I'm a thousandaire now. I could be a millionaire if I talk anti-black.
Yeah.
Isn't that something, man?
Yeah.
And Stephen A. Smith, he consistently do all this black with the antics. Man, I would push that dude. You know what, man?
Hold on.
Hey, you shared in this video or not?
I'm gonna quote one of my good friends here in Chicago. Actually, he's down there in Dallas with y'all. His name is Raj Felston. And when me and Raj used to watch Stephen A. back in the day, Raj would look at me and go, "He should have died when he was a baby."
God. Yeah.
Wow. I got another. I'm telling you, man, my whole crew has been hating Stephen A. Smith way before he started. We saw him soft shoeing.
Yeah,
that's right.
I'm telling you.
That's right.
I'm telling you, man. Any of my friends that come in here, ask them how long I've been saying, man, Stephen A. Smith is a clown. I checked out Stephen. I used to hold up hope for him, even though I saw him just all the time.
Bojangles.
Man, until when Josh Gordon got suspended for a season for the first time. Josh Gordon, he went on his weed rant. Stay off the weed. He doing all of those antics, right? The very same day, Wes Welker got suspended for Molly. And he set his black behind on TV and said, well, I can't really criticize him for Molly because I heard Molly is used to get up with the honeys. So how am I going to get mad at somebody trying to get with the honeys? I was like, and on that note, I'm out.
Wow.
And that's why I was like, I need to find.
If there weren't women watching this show, I would tell you what my drill sergeant would say about Stephen A. Smith, but I can't say it right. I'll tell y'all after the show.
That's after the show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we may get the matter of fact, we'll get famous though if I say it.
Let it rip.
Justin with a great comment. I would have loved to have seen what happened in the locker room, get a camera in there, even just get some audio in there because it was not good. Shout out to this Al High right here.
What's up, Al?
Al, we're gonna put the hats back on.
What's up, Al? What's up, Al? We repped this month. We repped at the beginning of the show, baby.
Appreciate the hat.
Candace Owens of sports.
In short, anytime Stephen A. Smith started talking, I think.
Golden Books agrees. Kwame broke down Stephen A.
Yeah,
loved it too.
Yeah,
loved it.
Golden is in agreement with you. Puts him in front of whatever that may be.
God, that dude, man.
They gave too much influence
because he now again hate sells just as much as love, and he's getting ratings based on people who hate him.
Yep.
So
that's what I said. He's found that lane and it's working.
Well, he's the Drake of
yeah.
Drake boy.
Yeah.
Boy. don't expect Drake to do anything else.
Right.
But the music he does, don't be surprised if don't think he's gonna do anything else.
Right.
But he's winning at what he's doing, so I'm not gonna hate on him.
I don't like the fact that he be claiming our state.
Texas.
No.
You got a song about it.
Yeah, Houston. I think he got a song.
Yeah.
Let's go to David Stern, and the part where you knew that this was sideways, obviously, was when they asked him. So what was the decision, or how did you come to this decision? And basically, it was like one. It was unanimous, and it was 1-0. So it's basically him. He didn't talk to anybody else.
Right.
He didn't interview anybody. I don't even know if he watched the footage besides the ESPN clips.
He was asleep, choking on that water.
Yeah.
A little water bean.
So Ron gets the rest of the season suspension. Stephen A gets 30 games. Jermaine gets 25.
Steven
Not
Jackson.
Stephen A, man. Steven Jackson.
Steven Jackson.
Apologize up a little bit.
I was gonna do that at some point in time. I was gonna get them mixed up.
Yeah.
But did y'all think that was fair? You think that
Come
was
on, man. He didn't even have no conversation with them, man.
he
You
didn't
can't
talk
be
to the
judge, jury, and executioner.
Right.
You ain't talk to nobody.
It's the media. I'm telling you, the media drove all of that. The
That's
media,
right. He had
especially
to.
when you got Bob Costas up there talking. You don't rattle Bob Costas' cage?
Bob, I was like,
Exactly.
Bob, hold up, Bob.
Come on, man.
David Stern.
You on the darkest side, Bob? Hold on,
The
Bob.
media was talking about this thug, hip hop, all that other kind of stuff.
Yes.
So he had to try to shut it down. He was trying to protect the brand.
Thank you.
What he was trying
There
to
you go, right there.
do.
The investors started calling that phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's clear that David Stern, he wasn't waiting on this per se to happen, but he needed a rat to piss on cotton.
Right.
He needed somebody. He needed a fight. He needed something to kick it off because he couldn't do anything about AI because AI was an icon.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to pull the rein. I need a reason.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can't get AI because if I mess with AI,
Right.
these black people that's watching,
Oh, it's over. It's a
all
wrap.
these black people buying these jerseys,
Yeah.
they're gonna be wearing NFL jerseys.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden he institutes this dress code,
Exactly. That's what I was
this
just
and
gonna
stuff
say.
like that, man. Come on.
Yeah. All right.
I get your jerseys.
So shout out to, I'm not gonna say his name. I know him about 334, Bama boy. HRap, you know him too.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Also, we got Dawk Bell, Angry Black Man. He said NBA is like Hollywood.
Yeah.
Rum. I'm assuming that's Ram.
Run by Jewish people. Run,
Jewish
man.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just one let off. They just throw the shit out of you.
Some rum would be good right now.
Being Ron Burgundy.
There you go.
Rum Burgundy, yeah.
Man.
So going back to the comment that you said, Dawk, about Steven Jackson, basically saying he wasn't gonna kiss. Nobody's behind.
Yeah, that was when they were in court because they had to go to court too. They were appealing their suspensions, and it got to the court, and so they were going in there telling their deal, and they were like, even though the cops, the detectives that were on it had cleared us, they still weren't considering that in our cases where we were appealing our suspensions, and that was BS, But Steven Jackson said, when I go in there, I wasn't kissing nobody's ass. Ask me,
right? Exactly.
Yeah, I'm good.
What it was.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
But you know what? I agree with Steve. But you know what, Steven Jackson, I got mad love Stacks, man. But I think he should have explained himself. He should explain what happened because he shouldn't be going around the rest of his life with this black eye on this man.
But think about it. This is his point, though. You're 100% right. But his point is like, what good would it have done?
No, I'm talking about so he can get his money back. Damn the public. I'm talking
back
about
then or now.
No. He said he missed out on millions of dollars.
A bunch of that's right.
He should have bought him an attorney in there and said, talk to him.
Yeah.
Because I like Stacks, man.
But nobody got a reduction in their suspension.
J.O. did.
Jermaine was the only one. Ron didn't. Ron didn't get anybody.
That's what I'm saying. I wish Stacks would have had.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Let's go back to the beginning. You introduce teenagers or early 20-year-old people to hundreds of millions or tens of millions of dollars, and then you actually expect them to be Bobby Axelrod, and that's just not fair.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, we see a lot of people in our community do it now on smaller levels, even, where they'll walk off a job when they've been wrong, because F y'all, man, I'm out of here or whatever. When in essence, they are in the right, and they need to just calm down and, and do it through the proper channels. And I got you.
And the irony is that when I was working with the Post, I did exactly what you said, Dawk. Martin Nielsen.
Yeah.
He the only saving grace I have is that was the time that my mother was sick. So I transitioned right into that. Yeah. But you're right. We get angry, we get into our emotions.
You don't want to deal with it.
And we don't want to deal with it because I mean, as Mos Def said on Bill Maher's show, I'm a black man in America. I'm constantly under pressure.
Because by that time, they have probably been doing whatever they've been doing for years and years and years. And at that point where it comes to this head, this precipice, you're like, okay, I'm F y'all. I'm out of here. You slamming shit on the way out. Willie Turner coming out.
Ice Cube on the way out.
Yeah.
Or to quote the great Richard Pollard, my grandfather, F you today, F you yesterday, and if I don't see you tomorrow, F you then too.
In advance.
Really. And the truth of the matter is, matter of fact, I wrote a blog about it, is that if you can keep control in those times, you'll see the power of your true voice. So you're talking loud right now because you're angry. Keep control there and watch how clear and decisive your real voice will be.
Yes. Yeah.
But that's a difficult.
That's why I wasn't talking about for media or imagery.
Right.
Look,
for your legacy, for your legacy, your family.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Because, like J.O. said, he had to explain to his kids.
That's right.
That got more kids than him.
Yeah.
But I think to Jermaine's point, I think he had more of the career left, or his mentality was like, I'm still
right
trying to make something.
He was at his, they were like he was at his prime.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that was probably his mindset. This is a comment from Al High. He said that's the same era they changed the dress code. Yeah, I'm wondering, was it that year or the year after?
Yes.
Yeah.
They said it in the documentary.
Right. In the high school, straight to the pros, to 1 year in college. In other words, too many immature niggas in the league.
Right. He on it.
Yeah.
He on it.
So initially, the fans didn't get any blame. And then the detective came in and he figured out that the guy's name was John Green. John Green. I wonder what he's doing now. Somebody go find out. But
he mixed next to Balkman or whatever the boy name was.
That guy can't walk on the street. He living in a basement somewhere.
That dude got a name change.
Bartman.
Yeah, that's it. Bartman.
Stick your hand out there, man.
Especially with the Cubs.
Yeah, come on.
Now Chicago forgave him after they won that World Series.
Yeah, how long later was that? He was in hide for like 2 years. He was like, "Oh, come out now."
He changed his name and everything. Such to be you.
Didn't that happen in the NFL? One of the refs, wasn't it something like a Seattle game and a Green Bay Packer game, and the refs they had like those.
That sounded familiar, but I can't remember the specifics.
The refs were on strike, and they had like this substitute ref, and it was an interception, or they called it a touchdown, or something like that.
Monday Night Football.
Yeah. That guy went in the hiding too. Had a book. Jeez, man.
And hold on, let's go back. They had Donahue. Wasn't that the guy that was betting on games?
Yes,
he was.
And he ain't in hiding though. That's
really
wrote a book.
Yeah, that dude was like, "Yeah, well, it's the Pistons games. You know, it's gonna be a hard game to call." I was like, "Not for you,
right?
Point shaving and." It wasn't that hard for you, so don't talk about it was hard.
Yeah.
So the fans initially didn't get any blame. Then they figured out John Green, and then the chubby clown that was talking about, "Oh, I'm all hurt."
Yeah,
and I think there was a guy that threw a chair. Like I'm like, what kind of They started when you start wiggling chairs and start with chairs.
Right. That can kill somebody. Literally.
You hit somebody in the head or in the eye the wrong way.
Come on.
That's so they started to figure out who these people were, started bringing these people in, and they started charging people, which I did not know that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was something that you guys learned.
I didn't know that. That's why I said it was to the point where the sports world blew up, the media blew up, and they moved on. But there was still something going on behind the scenes.
It would have been so easy for them cops just to go with that narrative, because who would have checked them?
Right.
Nobody, because the people who normally checked them was already on something else.
Right.
So that's why you got to give them kudos in that situation, man, for going through with it.
Well,
you don't see that very often.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The cops that were there,
I got a feeling it was that one detective, but you got to really give the entire force some credit, because guess how many times stuff like that gets shut down from on high?
Oh, real quick.
Investigation you doing?
Yeah.
Cut that. Wrap that up.
Yeah.
So for them to let him go and do what he needed to do, you got to give him some credit, man.
Yeah. HRap, you gonna say something?
I was agreeing with Dawk.
So kind of the aftermath, after if I didn't miss anything, if anybody else wanted to touch on it.
No, I think you're on it.
But the aftermath, Reggie ends up retiring. At that point, Reggie was like, okay,
I'm done, man.
It's about time for me to go ahead and bow out now.
Yeah.
Because again, that ain't Reggie scene, baby. You got cops coming at me with a mace. Man, I'm just a jump shooter, dude.
Reggie ain't fighting off a cold.
Yeah. That one time, didn't Reggie get into it with Jordan one time?
He did.
Yep.
Yeah, that's as mad as I've ever seen Reggie.
Didn't he try to choke Jordan?
Yeah, it was a very awkward push-up kind of choke kind of situation.
Yes.
It was.
We ain't gonna let Jordan off the hook either, because he was scratching him.
No.
Jordan was fighting.
It was a girl fight. It was a girl fight.
Yeah.
Trust me.
If y'all ever seen Step Brothers, it was when Will Ferrell and I can't remember the other guy's name, was fighting on the lawn, and they basically just like tussling and rumbling around. That's exactly it. So Reggie was like, I'm done. Never got a championship. Played in the Bulls era. They were not coming out of the East with Jordan there. Period.
Yeah.
They had the opportunity, didn't end up working out.
And I'm sorry. I feel no sorrow for a good player who does not win a championship. It is not a rite of passage. Everybody don't get one. It's just what it is. Yeah. Barkley didn't get him one. It's a lot of great players didn't get one. That's just what it is, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
and then again, going back to that tension, Ron asked to be traded. Mm-hmm. And that Jermaine was pissed off about that.
Right.
Which I don't know.
Even Ron himself has some remorse about that. He goes, man, I don't think I should have asked to be traded. He has regrets about it, especially because he went and won a championship. He goes, the first thing he thought was, man, I won a championship and they hadn't won one, and Reggie needed one. And I was surprised to hear even Steven Jackson them talking about, man, we was trying to do this for Reggie. Yeah. They had that mentality, man.
Yeah.
And so that goes to the point I was going to bring up. Ron Artest won one or two. I think he won multiple. Okay, he won one with the Lakers, so he got one.
Was his last team?
It was an integral part of that championship.
Oh yeah, he was.
They don't do it without him.
He was knocking it down. Mm-hmm. Steven Jackson won one with the Spurs, and that was a couple years earlier. And Jermaine O'Neal never got one. So you talk about the guy at the beginning of this that had the most talent, and Reggie, but had the most talent, really had the most to lose, I think. Because Ron was Ron. Ron probably would have did that if it was 5 years later. Right. I mean, if we just honest. So I think Jermaine knew that, and he said he's never gotten over it.
No, you can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell with the passion with which he discusses it, you can tell that, man.
Yeah. And so when Auburn Hills got demolished, it was like a part of me was still there. And you got to think, man.
Yeah, that's powerful, man. If you have not watched this documentary, you have got to watch it, and it really should change your entire perspective on professional athletes in general, man. Yeah. It really should.
It was done. Yeah, it was done really well. Mm-hmm. And even when they were talking to some of the, the fans randomly, saying like, "Oh man, I was watching the game. I was at the game." and then that one lady that said, you know, it was unprofessional. You know,
right.
What is the fine line between
right.
professional and unprofessional?
Yeah,
because
especially in athletics.
Right.
Yeah, we ain't talking about corporate America.
Thank you. Exactly. Like who haven't like blown the top? You know, I mean, who haven't been pushed to the brink?
Yeah.
You know, it's like
and that whole concept of professionalism thing.
Right. What is that? What does that mean? There's a fine line there.
Like, when last time you been sitting at your desk, lady, and somebody just threw a beer on your ass?
Right, exactly.
Right. Come on.
And
okay, yeah, very unprofessional, guys.
Yeah. You just turn the other cheek and just act like never.
Right.
So this radio station I listen to here, it's All Sports Station. They were talking about this incident that happened this year when the fan threw popcorn on somebody. I can't remember who it was.
Westbrook.
And he got upset about it, right? And so they were like, man, it's just popcorn. It's not like you did. You know, they didn't throw the chair. They didn't throw beer. It's just popcorn. And so as this guy was ranting about it was just popcorn, one of his producers got some microwave popcorn and dumped it on him. And that dude lost his mind. And he goes, point proven.
You get it?
Thank you.
And the bigger thing
popcorn, is, you know,
the bigger thing is that makes the players feel like I'm at the zoo. You just got
not there at the zoo. They're in the zoo.
They're in the zoo. Exactly. I'm animals in the zoo that you can just throw stuff at when you don't.
They feel like they don't have a protection, man. That there's no protection. So if you can throw popcorn, what else can you throw?
Right.
You know, we saw it in Philly when they throwing batteries wrapped in snowballs and all this other kind of stuff.
Yeah, right.
And fortunately, football players have some equipment on. They used to say they knew don't run through this tunnel without your helmet on. You know, it was a done deal. They knew to protect yourself. Yeah. Basketball players don't have that kind of protection, and they going right through the fans. Yeah. So ain't no telling what you can throw on them.
Was it this documentary that mentioned something about, of course, the players are not supposed to react to the fans when they do that? Is that what was it in this documentary? But I'm like, how do you expect somebody to keep cool with that? Yeah. You dumping Coke and beer and
when they walked through that tunnel, they were throwing everything they could get their hands on.
They could get their hands on.
Cups. Whatever they can find,
popcorn, whatever they get.
And I think Westbrook is the if you watch this documentary, you 100% understand why Westbrook feels the way he does. He is. People say he's angry or whatever, but like again, going back to the point with HRap, where he grew up, you can't just expect him to be like, oh, somebody threw something on me and it's all right. Mm-hmm. When you grow up in where you grow up. And then you get to the NBA, that just don't mean you just all of a sudden just forget that
you're supposed to take it and be okay with it.
Or you're already accepting all this abuse anyway. You bum, you scrub, you buster. You know they throwing them words at you, racial epithet. Yeah. And then I remember everybody was trying to go in on Vernon Maxwell when his wife had a miscarriage. And the dude was like, screw you and your dead baby. And Max went up there and worked out on Buddy. Yeah. And I remember being in that office the next day. It was because I'm a Max fan. I'm a Mad Max fan. Yeah, and what's up with your boy Mad Max? I say, okay, well, next time, I say, you ever been in a fight in the playground and somebody says your mama and you had a fight? He was like, yeah, when we were kids. I said, yeah, they said his mom.
Right. Thank you.
Same yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you can't. And the guy that was the Pistons fan, I don't know, you remember that guy that had the different color afro and the glasses and all that.
Yeah.
It was like the fans was invested, which I get that. You don't think the players are invested? This is their job.
Right.
You don't think they're invested?
They brought me here to win a championship. What do you expect?
Yeah, they're paying me millions of dollars. You don't think the players are invested? What? So, like, it's a problem.
It's like a couple months ago when that incident happened with our brother Richard Sherman. And the first thing they did was go back to when he was dissing Michael Crabtree right after the game.
Oh, yeah.
This dude, he way up here.
Yeah.
And you want him to be like, oh, well, no, I'm fired up and I'm talking trash. He wasn't irate. He just talking trash about a dude who he has to compete with on a regular basis.
Right.
And that was the funniest trash talk of all time.
Exactly.
And the lady was like, what did you gonna see me? If we ever on the court, I'm trying to get in your head all day long. And that's part of it. I don't care if we playing dominoes, we playing spades, we shooting in the backyard. Me and Justin that's on there. Asked Justin about our water basketball contest out there about 4 weeks ago, and how much trash we was talking to each other. You wouldn't think we were related to each other.
That's psyche.
You know,
and you think about this season, Trae Young. I think Trae Young got spit on. And I just think, imagine how many times this stuff happens and it doesn't end up. You don't even know about it. Like that's
fair. Like I'm supposed to take it unprofessional.
I liken it to, we compared this a little bit to the zoo, right? The zoo animals and whatnot. And it's that lion that has been poked at and prodded at and all this other kind of stuff by all these kids and viewers and spectators and whatever. And finally you get this little boy, this little girl that's right up against that lion, and that lion finally done had enough and grabbed that ass real quick. I'm gonna try to fight for him.
Right.
It's not because what that little girl did that day. It's because it's been happening for this whole time I've been up in here. And I got this little area to run around, and I need like 10,000 times as much as this. And y'all feed me this bullshit steak and all these, you know what I'm saying? So everything added up.
Y'all not let me see my wife and my kids and everything.
Or like, hey, if you really want to laugh, look up the polar bear at the zoo. This polar bear bit a plug out this dude's ass. I mean, if you look up that polar bear, I will never get. I'm talking about as close as I am to y'all. That's the close I'm getting to polar bear. He was like, the polar bear.
But it's just an example. People don't understand how stuff builds for people.
Yes.
And we are forgiving people. So we are allowing this stuff to go. And, hey, it's all good. I'll keep control. I'll take it. I'll forgive. I'll whatever. And that stuff comes to a head, man. And, you do it at the wrong time on the wrong day. You can see it sometimes just walking through life and going to places and stuff like that. And you be like, the way that dude treats somebody, he gonna say it to the wrong person one day. Matter of fact, I've actually given dudes like that extra tips, and I said, I'm giving you an extra tip because I need you to do me a favor. And they're looking like, man, I appreciate the tip. What can I do? You need to start treating people who look like me better, because you never know what we're gonna do. And it's gonna get you in trouble if you don't. And it's made an impact on them, because I'm like, you gonna say this, you're gonna behave like this to the wrong people, and it's not gonna go well for you.
No, it's not.
Hey, as they say, it ain't the last straw to break the camel's back; it's the 10,000 straws up under it.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point.
It's
and then you go to it's a huge ball. You got the media to ask you stupid questions afterwards, and then they ask you, well, why wasn't this player here? And that was to the point when they asked Jermaine O'Neal, why isn't Ray Artist? I don't know. Why are you asking me why another grown man isn't here? I don't know. So
we got to go forward with who's here.
Exactly. So you got the media asking dumb questions. Then you got the fans. Then when you don't win, you got the team. It's like, oh, we need you to put the team on your back because somebody else got injured. And it's like that's a lot of pressure, man. We don't realize that is a ton of pressure.
Yeah.
For it's millions of dollars, but that pressure
that adds to the pressure.
Right.
You don't take away
that
from
pressure is not like you sitting at a desk getting paid $40,000. It's not. It's not the same pressure. It's a different level of pressure. So,
bless you.
Thank you.
So Ron Artest changes his name to
Meta World Peace.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Thank you.
And he explained why, and obviously when he got to the Lakers, I think he still had that dog in him, but I think he commented on it. He said I wasn't. I don't know if he said I wasn't as anxious.
Well, by that time you've been in therapy for quite some time. You change your name based on some of the studies you're doing with Buddhism, I think, and stuff like that.
Right.
And that's what he basically did. That whole thing. You shall have what you say. So he's like, I'm going to change my name to Meta World Peace. And I forget how he broke down the meta deal, but he was like, the entire name is about peace, and whatever. So he tried to project that with his name. And at that point, as far as I was concerned, all was forgiven for Ron Artest for me. I don't care what had happened, that dude was cool. I got no issue with you.
Yeah.
Because it's about the effort to me, man, not the result. It is about the effort. Where was your heart in the effort? Matter of fact, David in the Bible, one of the biggest womanizers, God called him a man after my own heart.
Right.
Because he knew what this was. He messed up, but this dude's heart is somewhere, So that as far as Ron Artest, we cool. You can come spend the night over here if you want to.
Yeah.
Not an HRap room though, because he like that front room.
But you know what's crazy? When you say Ron Artest or Meta World Peace or whatever one you call him by, you think wild, crazy, erratic. But man, I was watching the Shannon Sharp show and he had Meta on there. That dude is a basketball genius.
I believe it, man.
I'm talking about dude.
Student of the game.
This dude, he's a professor of the game. Hey, let me tell you, if you ever get a chance to listen to him, he wants to be a coach.
Yeah. But they wouldn't, man. That's one of those ones that need to go to your HBCUs right there.
Yes.
Right there is where he needs to go.
Yeah.
Right there.
You know what? I a billion times agree with you, Dawk, because guess what? He will be coaching and impacting a bunch of people just like him.
That's right.
Right.
And getting them to be professors of the game.
Go ahead and say it, HRap. Go back up and say that again. He'll be coaching people just like him that have been put into war. That is the thing.
Yes.
You said.
Right.
In that area, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
You throw me into this situation and you expect me to handle all this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He would be, you are right, dog. He would be awesome at an HBCU.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Because, hey, man, I'm not a bad dude, and I've made some horrible decisions, but I always tell this one story on my show, and I'll tell it now. Me, Big Illinois, and our buddy Drastic. How remember you get the summer job.
I'm gonna change my name to Drastic. Yeah, I likes that.
Drastic.
It was this place. If you ever watched y'all watched the movie Cooley High.
Yeah, we did. Yes, we did watch it. We kind of reviewed it on this show.
It's a restaurant called Sammy's. When they jumped on the bus, and you see it in the background called Sammy's. We used to walk to that restaurant. As a matter of fact, Cooley High by 81 was knocked down, and it was what we played Little League football and baseball. And to your right, depending on which direction you're walking in, but as we were coming from our house, you go to your right, and it was the Good Times Projects. And me, Dras, and Big Illinois, we would meet up in front of me and Big Illinois' house, because Dras lived around the corner. And we would go, hey, man, now just listen to this trauma that we dealt with. Hey, man, let's hurry up and go to Sammy's before they start shooting.
Wow.
Like you knew.
Wow.
Like you knew it was going to happen.
Right.
There was a couple times that people would tell you, man, I was just in Carson and they were shooting at the ground. And there was a time when I for a jump shot and the ball never hit the rim or the backboard because it exploded and not because it was filled with helium.
Right.
So you expect me or anyone in my community, right, or like my buddy Nick Johnson, God rest his soul. We were so conditioned in this neighborhood to accept trauma. It was this portion of the community called the Blacktop. They had blacktopped over just this one section of ground. And if you went on the blacktop when the sun was down, if you got murdered, people would be like, well, he knew better. Not, oh my God.
Yeah.
He knew better. So you want that person to enter a world and put himself under a microscope and then appropriately behave.
All right, I was gonna say behave correctly, and it's like
that
ain't gonna help.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's real. And a lot of us had that bad. Like it's that let's victimize the victim instead of let's have some sympathy and compassion, for what happened. Because nobody deserves to get shot on the blacktop just because they were dead. Nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. It makes sense.
All right. So, Untold, Malice at the Palace. So I would kind of final thoughts. Don't watch this because don't watch this as thinking you know what happened.
Right.
Watch this because you're going to get it from a completely different perspective.
That's right.
And honestly, the last 15 minutes was about that portion of it. Mm-hmm. Everything else was leading up to it and backstory.
Yeah.
Setup. Yeah. Exactly. So watch this just because you want to know more than just that situation, because we all learned a lot watching this. Because all we got what was on ESPN. That's it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Because I don't even Sports 1 at that time.
Yeah. And I don't think even local news. Like, I don't think it was a story that kept going. It was
not like, locally.
You're right. Exactly. So
it's been like national stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they were telling one side of the story.
Yeah.
Right.
Over and over and over and over and over. To where they believe.
I live in Chicago is a perfect example of that.
Mm-hmm.
They show the one black kid get killed. They show the one black guy shoot the kid.
Right.
And then they say, look at all this violence in Chicago. So what else are you to think? Black people are violent in Chicago, destroying Chicago.
And that's what I was going to say. They tell that story over and over again. And not only do the people who are watching start to believe it, some individuals who are in the middle of it themselves start to believe it. Right? Maybe I am. Maybe we are, because they don't have enough strength there to combat what is being said. There are not enough opposing forces to tell them a different narrative.
Right. Yep.
Indeed.
All right. So other final thoughts, Dawk, and then we'll get to our rating out of 5 mics.
Just well done documentary, and like somebody just said, I highly encourage that you watch it. And sometimes there's spoiler alerts, right, in movies and stuff like that people haven't seen. I think there is a benefit, especially in stuff like this, for you to watch our kind of review before you go watch the documentary. There can be some to give you something to look for, specifically that you may otherwise miss or whatever. So I think getting a perspective before can serve well in certain situations, and I think this is one of them. Go watch it.
Definitely. Shout out to Shaka Strong.
Yeah.
Black Fleming.
Shaka Strong. Shaka Strong. Shaka Strong. I'm trying to figure out how Mayhem that made that Shiner Bach last this whole show. He's drinking it slow, y'all.
He got the bartender in the background filling it.
Yeah, must be.
That cup.
Must be.
It's like,
well, appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, HRap, final thoughts.
My final thoughts are a portion of Dawk's. I think Jermaine O'Neal did an excellent job at this. This is another example of if we step up and start creating our own stories and doing our own, using our own content, people will respect us more. Mm-hmm. And I reluctantly say this because I know it's beneficial to them. It was a Harvard study done that showed that we watch television more than any other demographic in America. Mm-hmm. So, but I'm still going to give Netflix a salute to them because, hey, even though y'all pimping us for it, y'all doing it. Y'all putting it out there. I got to salute you for it.
That's right.
I'm not gonna act like, hey man, y'all champions. What's that?
Right.
But at the end of the day, they letting Tiffany do her thing. They letting what's her name? The sister that's putting out all these shows, the one who did the 4-part series, How They See Us.
Oh yeah,
Ava DuVernay.
Okay, yeah, that's what's
and they letting the
and how they handle Chappelle. When they pulled this stuff, I gotta give them big kudos.
I'm not gonna be like, hey man, Netflix is where it's at. But hey, at the end of the day, due to the way they treat the people with content and the people who are willing to tell their own stories, Netflix is where it's at.
And see, that's another thing that reminds me, HRap, about how I can talk to viewers of your show and this show and Queen 3 and say, that's why we need y'all support, man. You know, the more support we get out there, the more we can get our voices out there. It ain't even about agreeing with everything we say or anything like, or even liking us individually. Your support is so important that we can continue to put out content that is about us out there. Right. And that has our voices out there. And I got news for you. We the kind of people who we trying to spread the love and bring on other people and give them platforms to be able to do the same thing. And we're not asking them, do you think like us first? We just simply saying, you got something to say? Let's give you the place to say it, you know? And when you support us, those numbers gives us credibility when we go before these executive producers and the Netflix types and stuff like that to be able to get a platform so we can help somebody else. I promise you, it ain't about our fame and fortune. It ain't about our money. I promise you that. It's about getting the opportunity to give the opportunity.
Right. So like what HRap says, so we can tell the story and tell the true story and not the fabricated lies. And just like in this documentary, what the media says.
Yeah, but we got to start somewhere, and that starting somewhere is supporting the folks that's trying to get it done. We invest time in this stuff. We ain't rolling out of bed and, you know, well, Wilks did today.
Right after work.
You know, we put some time in this. These is real notes that have been taken over, you know, for this kind of stuff, you know, because we're trying to put quality out there, man, so we can, you know, have a legit voice.
Exactly. Final thoughts, Wilks?
You know, it was done well. I learned a lot of things. It even had me second guessing because I couldn't remember if Reggie had got him a championship or not. But I realized that he did not. He was trying, but they had put the people in place. But it was done well. I learned a lot of things because, like I said, it was like one of those quick, celebration today in Philadelphia. They're rioting, blah blah blah, and then it just back to you in the studio. You know, it's like you didn't hear anything else about the investigation. You didn't know if anything else was like what was going on, and then of course everybody was waiting on the NBA to throw out their rulings or punishments or whatever. But no, I learned quite a bit. I enjoyed it a lot. I think Netflix is on to something with this Untold segment that they're doing because they have different stories out there. But no, I enjoyed it. That was good.
It was a little soft how Reggie was crying during his retirement, though, man. Cry hard, man. Don't, you know, real soft crying.
He had them invisible tears. Like, what you wiping, Reggie? You might as well let them drop, man. All right, so let's get to the rating. Where do we rate on a scale of 0 mics to 5, 5 being the best? What are we going to rate it? I'm going to start with HRap first.
4 mics.
4 mics, huh?
Okay. I think that's fair.
I'm interested to find out why 4. Why not the full 5? What's stopping you from?
It was great. I mean, 5 is the greatest. 5 is unforgettable.
Okay.
This was informative. This was poignant. This was entertaining. This was, see, I told you, but this wasn't.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Good point. All right, Dawk.
I'm gonna give it 4.5 mics. Is where I'm at with it because 5 is rarefied air, you know. But you know, I like a lot about this. There's not one thing I can come in and say if you'd have did this would have made it better. But yeah, I think it falls short of 5, but many projects do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
right,
4.5 is no slouch. It's super, super strong.
Yeah, definitely. All right, I'm gonna go. I was leaning towards the 4 or the 4.5, but I think I'm gonna go with the 4.5. I think because it was, for me, it was a lot that I learned. So it wasn't like, this is stuff I already knew, so you know I'm not even interested. I mean, this was stuff that I learned about each one of these guys, and then collectively learned about them, and then these intricate details. So I agree with HRap. You can't give it a 5 because 5s are, 5s are exterminate all the brutes. 5 is the Who Shot Malcolm X. Like those are 5s.
Yeah, but to get a 4 or 4.5 in an hour show, and to get us to do almost 2 hours on a review with content,
right?
Shit, you eating.
Exactly.
Hey, see, I ain't give it to half because they ain't do Jamal Tinsley.
No, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
And one thing I wish they would have did is Ron Artest is sitting down and Jermaine O'Neal comes in, and they at least like say, I don't know if they made up or I don't know if they talked.
Right.
That would have been like icing on the cake.
Ron Artest, even after he won his championship, he apologized. He goes, "Man, I feel like a coward for asking for a trade. Them was my boys. I should have stayed with them." But I was just going through, I needed to get away, whatever. Those are some very forgivable phrases and positions that he's taken, and I'd find it hard to believe, especially knowing what Jermaine O'Neal is doing with youth and stuff like that. I find it hard to believe that he wouldn't forgive the dude.
Yeah. I understand why he's still mad, though, because Captain Jack said what he said. He's still mad. Ron befriended the dude through the beer.
Did he?
Huh?
Yeah.
That's probably part of his whole peace thing, I bet.
Jack said we still a little mad at him because he friends with the dude who threw the beer now, because they buddies now.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I didn't catch that at all.
I can see that.
He said that in the doc?
Mm-hmm.
Man, did not catch that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. He was like, this dude helped ruin our lives, a portion of our lives. How you friends with him?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, touche.
Golden Brooks says a 4.
Couché avec soi, c'est soi. Gichi, ay. Mocha lata.
Shaka says it would be a 5 if O'Neal and Meta met. Yeah, I was hoping. I was like, okay, it's going to lead up to that because a lot of what they talked about was that tension.
And they may have presented that, and they were like, and Jermaine may have been like, absolutely not, or whatever. So,
y'all got to watch Meta's documentary.
That's by himself,
yeah, that would be good.
It's not. It's on Showtime. It's good.
Okay,
it's awesome.
Definitely. All right, Wilks, round this out.
I mean, I'm right there with the rest of you guys. I think it was a 4.5 mics. I mean, it was done well. I mean, I learned some things. There was something, like you said, it was kind of one of those. I knew that, but I didn't know the rest of it. But I think yes, O'Neal and Meta coming together, I think would have been great. But I mean, I guess you can't win them all. But other than that, I think it was good. I think I had a 4.5. Yeah.
And I like we got a couple of viewers putting in their number of mics. We don't see enough of that on the show. We're gonna have to start pushing for that. I like that.
Definitely. Jonathan Davis. Thank you for tuning in. He says 4.5. And it was an hour. I mean, it left me like, man, that's it.
Yeah, me too.
It's rare that I've watched anything in the time we reviewed where I'm like, that's it. And so this definitely did it.
Yeah, Summer of Soul may have been the only other one that I wanted more of. Yeah. Wilks must be faded right now because the screen went blurry on us. Shine a box. You must got this new program that reflects how you feeling.
You take one more down. This is your conscience.
All right. Well, we kind of talked about it at the beginning, but Dawk and HRap, what's going to be coming up on the show tomorrow?
Big fun on Queen 3 and King tomorrow. Again, we're doing a crossover show with Man Talk Monday. We'll be talking about hashtag relationship goals. Everybody got them, but ain't nobody getting them.
Right.
Yeah, they post some stuff with they past girlfriend or boyfriend that they had.
Yeah, something. Yeah, it's some damaged individuals out there, boy.
All right, HRap.
Oh, well, my show going to be kind of personal tomorrow. Well, not personal as in about myself. I'm talking to, instead of giving a whole lot of information about what we can do to transition, I'm going to talk about some of the things that we over-index in and how we need to stop, like holidays. Like, it's really, I don't really do a lot of Facebooking per se, But I see a lot of things that are said on Facebook, and I'm tired of the redundant comments, because some of the issues that you're expressing about what you do and don't like about the community, it can be fixed if you stop talking about what we should do in the community. One of the first things I'm gonna be talking about is holidays. I'm sick and tired of people, me and Dawk age, saying, man, the holidays ain't like it used to be. Well, damn it, you need to open this. What you do?
Yeah.
January 1st, open your damn house up to your friends and family. Valentine's Day, do something with your friends and family. Memorial Day, do something with your friends and family.
Right.
Father's and Mother's Day, do something with your friends and family.
Yeah, don't talk about it, be about it.
Right. The 4th of July, people they will be more than welcome to come in. You can't wait to Thanksgiving. You done cussed out and pissed on everybody's lawn and go, well, everybody want to come to my house because don't nobody like you.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So,
nobody like a potato salad.
And then I got some newsworthy stories that I want to talk about, but that is literally my number one pet peeve with our community.
Yeah.
Because
I like
it ain't like it be with this my grandmama. Damn it, you grandmama now.
That's right.
Right.
You're right.
Make it what that was.
Right.
You know you there.
They step up and do it, but that's either that's gonna be the very first thing or the very last thing I talk about.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Oh, and
Fans of Dumb and Dumber, I appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Me too, man.
I'm in the midst of creating a new show. Me, my homeboy Steve, my girl Tree, and it's gonna be like a variation of Three Kings, 3 and Queens, 3 and Kings.
There you go.
But it'll be a little like you guys do it from an intellectual perspective. We're gonna do it from an angry adult perspective.
All right, I like it.
There's a space for that. That's why I tell people I don't know what to talk. I want to do a podcast, but I don't know what to do. I don't know what to talk about.
Just talk.
Record. Hit record. Your life is going to be interesting to somebody. The stuff you went through yesterday, the stuff you experienced, your hobbies, your passions, the stuff that you think nobody would be interested in.
Yeah,
believe me,
there's enough to say. I'm telling you right now, with the amount of podcasts that I'm on and guest on and stuff, and I'll still be thinking about so many more podcasts you can do.
So many ideas.
I'm just trying to keep my plate halfway with some space on it because I'll be on the podcast every night talking because there's so much stuff to talk about, man. So many different angles, you know. That's
definitely.
Yeah. But
all right. Oh, go ahead, HRap.
No, it's gonna be I'm really just gonna vent tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm talking about communication. I'm gonna talk about religion. I'm tired of people quoting the scripture and not applying it to their lives. It's cool to listen to, and I'm just using this facetiously. It's cool to listen to Reverend Dawk and Reverend Dawk's perspective. But take Reverend Dawk's perspective, swallow it, and regurgitate how you feel. Not, Dawk is Dawk and TD Jakes holding it down, so I gotta listen to Dawk or TD Jakes. They said this, and I'm just tired. And
because guess what? They're human just like me and you. They don't have any special access that you don't have.
Right.
So
you're 100% right.
That's a whole man. I can go on a rant on that.
Right.
Look, pick up your Bible and read it. Don't listen to what somebody else is going to tell you to trickle it down, and then all you getting is crumbs.
Right.
On the HRap show, he tell you there are no excuses because if you don't feel like reading it, you can listen to it now.
You can listen to it.
Yeah. It's no excuse.
And if you really need to listen to, if you really want to make yourself get up, like in the outcast kind of way, get up, get out, and get something. Listen to this book called The Miseducation of the Negro, and you will see just how far we are behind. That book You ain't got to read a word. Carter G. Woodson, The Miseducation of the Negro. I think it is 90 years old.
Wow.
And
relevant
this book, if you read it or if you listen to it on YouTube, your hair will be about an inch longer. Because that's a man who, first, I hate to rant, but give you a little background on Carter G. Woodson. He's one of the first brothers. He's our ancestor. He is the brother who created Black History Week that evolved into Black History Month. He's one of the first people, I think he may be the second Black man to receive his PhD from Harvard University. And guess how he honed his academic skills? Sitting in the coal mine with Black men reading the newspaper and periodicals to those Black men.
Wow.
So if you want to keep, like Dawk says, he always says what I say on the show, if you want to get into this situation, they won't allow me to ... All you have to do is look at Carter G. Woodson. All you have to look at his Marcus Garvey, Noble Drew Ali, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Medgar Evers, Martin King, Whitney Young, Bennett Rustin, and Fannie Lou Hamer, who was born literally a cotton picker, and is one of the most powerful women in the history of the world. Shirley Chisholm from the islands. For all you people who he ain't Black enough and he ain't really Black, y'all love Shirley Chisholm. Shirley Chisholm was not born in what we call North America or the states.
So it was in the territories.
Yeah. She was born in the islands. And all these people, like, you love Marcus Garvey, but you got the nerve to sit your Black behind up and talk about foundational Black Americans. So knock it off. And it's just basically tomorrow will be about a 60-minute rant. I got some real good clips. I always do the 20 minutes of 10 and 10 or 8, at least 18 minutes of Black history. That's gonna be, I think those are two of my best videos. And it's interesting. Please, if you don't ever watch my show, ever, wait till it ends. And if you don't see it at the beginning, wait till it ends and watch the Bill Cosby clip. It is an interesting, like, I put a storyboard in front of it, and the storyboard starts off saying we could talk about him being attacked because of the NBC theory. He was trying to buy NBC. Or was it this video? And when you watch this video, what Bill Cosby is talking about, you're going to be like, OMG.
Love it. Love it.
All right. Well,
on Built for This Network, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow.
Yep.
Check him out.
7:30 Central Standard Time, Queen 3 and King, right here on YouTube, on Facebook. All right.
We getting it in.
We definitely are. Something every day.
Thanks for the inspiration, Ben. Twitch and Facebook. Twitter. I'm on that too.
Let's go. Awesome. All right, we'll finish this off. HRap.
Y'all already know how it is. I want to thank y'all for tuning in to Build for This BS3 Sport.
The Fourcast.
And the Fourcast with my brothers, Mayhem, Dawk, and Ben. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. I look forward to Monday. And fun fact, as I always say doing the show, I enjoy doing this show more than I enjoy doing my own. Wow. I want y'all to understand that we have a ball, and I've created a brotherhood of these men. Yeah. And that's why I always salute the late, great Reggie O'Shea, the Podfather, and I always use his closeout by saying, dream those dreams and man up and woman up and live those dreams. Because life without dreams flows in black and white. Life with dreams flows in technicolor surround sound. Do something before something's done to you, and you already know if we owe you something. Salute to Craig Smith. And if we owe you something, we ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
Peace.
We'll see you.
Peace.